So, Dr. Montgomery, I am a migraine sufferer. I don't get them often, but when I do, it's debilitating. So when I hear people have chronic migraines, I really feel for them. Pretty good news with this nasal spray that it is fast acting. Within 15 minutes. It can get rid of that aura that we experience. Talk to us about this spray and what stands out to you.
Yeah, a big breakthrough for very many. 39 million Americans, just like you, Marni, as it turns out, suffer from migraines. And it's not just a headache, right? So this is a whole syndrome and can be debilitating, as you said. This medicine is, it's a part of a substance that is called CGRP. We can actually inhibit CGRP that makes migraines a lot worse, causes inflammation. And this medicine now, the thing about this medicine, although you said not the first, it is the first to work so quickly. Nasal spray, 15 minutes of relief. 15 minutes before you can get pain relief, and about 30 minutes to 2 hours, Marni, before people can get back to normal. That's a huge breakthrough compared to what we had before.
Yeah, no, a lot of times it takes the pill a lot longer than that. I think many of us go to a dark room and try to sleep it off. That is really good news. Is there some people that would be a better candidate for this than others?
Yeah, the trial was very clear about who this is for. This is for people who, for example, have tried those medicines that you mentioned and it didn't work, what we call refractory migraineurs. And so that's a specific group of people who this would work for. It's also important that this medicine is different from some of the others that we've heard about because it is effective even before the migraine starts. And you mentioned the aura, which is the set of symptoms that sort of indicate to the person, hey, I'm about to have a migraine. It's useful in those people as well, and it's fast acting. That's really the key here.
Yeah, that's good news. You know, there are a lot of different triggers for migraines. For me, it can be stress or dehydration. Do we know yet what causes migraines? What's the research telling us behind these debilitating headaches?
Yeah, isn't that that's the holy grail of this whole problem. We don't know exactly what causes it. And there's so many cellular mechanisms at play. But to your point, triggers like stressors, right? There's some people who say, I know I'll get a migraine if I don't eat breakfast. So, not having the right nutrients in your body. There are certain smells and certain, lights that might cause this for people even before the aura starts. And so while we don't know, this Zaspret, right, is one of the things that we know can help people really quickly.
I like it. One of the tools in the toolbox. Another thing that can lead to migraines is lack of sleep, which brings us to our final topic here. Apple Heart and Movement study found most people are not getting the recommended 7 hours of sleep a night. Does that surprise you that people are not prioritizing sleep?
Well, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, who does, right? Who gets 7 hours of sleep?
I do.
Do you? Okay, good.
Well, I don't
good.
want to have
really
a migraine.
There you go, right? So like many people, that 7 to 9 is a recommendation. 7 to 9 hours of sleep is really essential so that you're not just tired, but that you don't develop heart disease and other things like depression later in life. While it's not surprising, is one of the things that my patients, for example, put off. Right? It's sort of an optional thing. Like I'll do that when I get to it, and sometimes people say, I'll sleep when I die. Well, let's turn on the clock right now. It's been shown that people who don't sleep for long enough do die sooner. And that's really important for people to understand that sleep is critical. Every organism, Marni, sleeps. There's something to it.
Right. No, I love sleep. I prioritize sleep. Can there be a downside to too much sleep, though? Like if you're getting too much a night, what are the ramifications of that?
Yeah, fantastic question. So there is a bell-shaped curve. Too little's not so good for you. Too much, not too good for you. The Rip Van Winkle effect, for example. And so we know that there is that sort of average amount, and people are different. Within that sort of average amount, some people they have different chronotypes, as it turns out. Some people are biologically, early birds. I'm an early bird, so I sleep more and I wake up, sooner. There are night owls. These are real terms, actually, that people who sleep less and go to bed later, right? And so we do have to understand that even given your chronotype, that there is an average amount of sleep that you should have to not just function optimally, think straight, tolerate, the frustrations throughout the day, but also to avoid things like heart disease and depression. And I think talking to a sleep specialist, if you're having trouble, could be the key.
Yeah, find your sweet spot because it all is connected, especially when it comes to our heart health and so many other things. Dr. Dave Montgomery, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.